There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line. My name's Emma, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Ella.
Hello.
Hello. We're like well, I guess what? Like the Leafs win on Saturday, and so we're like all gung-ho and chipper. Even though like
Yeah.
even though like it wasn't a good game.
I think at this point,
A
a
win's a
win's
win.
a win.
But also now at this point too, do we not want wins? Like, are we going back to like the days of when the Leafs were tanking and we're like, we don't want them to win. A win is a bad thing. We need this team to lose.
I can't do that to Joseph Wall.
Look, he played great on Saturday, um, against Vancouver. He had a great game. I think, you know, I think, like, if you were to talk about like who were the standouts from, I just wrote Toronto Maples with an S. Jesus Christ. If you were to talk about
Ripples.
the standouts from that game on both teams, it would be the goaltenders. Joseph Wool starting for the Leafs and Nikita Tolopilo, sorry, starting for Vancouver. Because like it was, yes, the Leafs won in a shootout, their first shootout win of the season, um, against Vancouver. I think, the only reason why we have a winner from this game is that because games can't end in ties anymore.
Mm.
Like, this was the most, like, if this game could end in a tie, it probably would have.
Yeah.
That you could possibly have. Like, because the shootout at that point just becomes a skills competition. And I don't want to discredit wins for teams, who win via shootout, because there's been a lot of historical shootout wins over the years, but they become a skills competition. Like, they're not real, right?
Yeah.
And it's also a little bit, I don't want to say unfair, but it's one of those things where you look at the players who went out. This one only going for 2 rounds because the Leafs sent out Austin Matthews and William Nylander, and the Vancouver Canucks sent out Elias Pettersson, okay, and Jake DeBrusk.
Yeah.
And those were the best options, because who else were you going to send out? David Kampf? No offense
Yeah.
to David Kampf.
I'd send
David
him up.
David Kampf, who I like forgot was a Vancouver Canuck, which is very unlike me. It's very unlike me to forget that, because I think we talked at length about David Kampf as a Vancouver Canuck when he went and signed that contract with Vancouver, after he
Mm.
terminated his contract with Toronto. But like, they were talking about, the Vancouver had a pre-game ceremony for their players who are going to be going to the Olympics. That starts this week, actually, on Wednesday, with mixed doubles curling. Uh, Exhilarating stuff. Um, but they had little like minor hockey players come out and like be representative of the players of the teams and like of the countries that the players are going to be representing and stuff, and it was really cute. And they go like, and for Czechia, Filip Hronek, and I was like, oh yeah. And then they go, and for Czechia, and I was like, wait, who else is from David Camp? And I was like, oh my god, yeah, no, David Camp is going to the
Oh.
Olympics for Czechia. So I had that little moment of like, oh my god, wait, David Camp, hi.
Hi, David.
Forgot about you. Sorry about that. Um, but yeah, no, goaltenders on both sides, got saved both these teams multiple times. Like, there were multiple saves that both Wool and Tolopilo made that were very impressive, game saving, one could ask,
Mm.
above and beyond. And deservedly so, Joseph Wool got the belt uh, after the win for Toronto.
Yeah.
Well deserved from him. I think, one of the other, storylines from this game is that Morgan Riley was injured, and we got further reports on it. He left the game due to an upper body injury against Vancouver. He did not take morning skate today for the Leafs game that they have today against Calgary. That's at 10 p.m. Eastern. And he will not play today or tomorrow against Edmonton. And it has been a lingering injury that he has been dealing with. So, he'll take the time, enjoy the Olympics, the Olympic break, I guess, with his Olympic champion wife,
The goat.
the goat.
I love
They are married,
that
right?
you.
So they got married, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm like, now I don't know why in my head I think that they didn't get married, and now I have to like look her up on Instagram and like
No, they did because
it's
I showed my grandma the wedding dresses because
oh
she
yes,
really
they did in
liked
Italy
them.
because I do remember now the story about them not shelling out for Spotify Premium for their wedding. And so their
Mm.
music would get interrupted by ads because they didn't hire a DJ. They were just like, yeah, we're going to play a playlist off Spotify. And no one thought to be like, hey, maybe you should get Spotify Premium.
Just this
And
once.
I think anyone who uses Spotify, like the free version of Spotify, is
It is.
insane.
It is unusable now.
Because
It's not unusable, but for as someone who listens to so much music and so
could you
many different
imagine an ad like
podcasts,
every like 3 songs? I would lose my
it
mind.
throws like because I have to have music on while I'm studying and like while I'm reading. So if I'm in uni all day every day, and every 5 seconds there's an ad
And they're
trying to
always the
sell me
dumbest
something,
ads.
like I because I accidentally went back to the free Spotify because I'm on my family plan thing and something had gone wrong and the payment hadn't gone through and we didn't realize until I'm like trying to study and I get a stupid ad for I don't even know what. And I just sent my mum a text and I was like, is this I was like not to be the child who leeches off their parents, but I was like, is your Spotify okay? Because I keep getting ads.
I got a text from my sister that was like, "What's up with the Spotify?" Because I had my debit card. I had an issue with my debit card where they thought
Mm.
like my account was a victim of fraud. My bank account. So I had to go into the bank and like I had to get a new debit card. And that meant that everything that like was associated with my old debit card,
Oh.
I had all my subscriptions, which I don't have like a ton, but it's like Spotify was on that. Like anything I did through
Mm.
Apple, which was like Nebula, my iCloud, the communal Nebula subscription.
No. I still haven't watched the last episode of Jet Lag because me and my mum watch it together, and I've
For
gone back to
context,
uni.
for
So
context,
we've watched it.
Ella and I and our good friend Cal, who's been on the show like a couple of years ago now, like our
It
first
was a
year,
while back.
while back. Like it was like when Jamie Drysdale
It
got
was the
traded,
Jamie Drysdale.
got
That's how
traded,
I remember.
who
I'm
got
because I
traded to
remember just
Philly.
going, whoa.
We had him on the show. We all three of us share a communal Nebula subscription, so we can watch Jet Lag a week early.
And so
I
me and my
think
mum can watch it
you know what? I
together.
feel I feel fine saying that we like password share a Nebula account because I think if anyone's going to be understanding of password sharing, it's the three Nebula guys. It's the three Jet Lag
Yeah.
guys. You know what? I think Sam Denby is pro password sharing, so I think it's fine.
Mm. And as well, like, if we didn't have the joint Nebula subscription, I wouldn't have one at all.
Exactly. It was like my Christmas gift to you guys this year was me going, okay, guys, we're because I wanted to watch Hide and Seek UK, like, and I didn't want to wait for it. I just wanted to watch it
Yeah.
when it came out. So I was like, I don't want to wait another week for it. I want to
It's
watch it
fine.
now.
You and Kyle are gonna get a lovely little Christmas present from me at Christmas.
And it's like I think yeah, my Disney Plus is through that too. Like I have like luckily my
Oh.
TSN is like an annual subscription, so it was like
Mm.
not affected, like my TSN Plus. But like I literally had so many subscriptions that I had to go in and like change the bank info for.
God,
Like
that's
I think I had to I think I have to do it for my athletic like soon. probably, because I think my athletic subscription, like all of these subscriptions that I have, and I didn't realize I had so many until I started getting like emails being like, when they would like renew every month, being like, oh, your banking info is now incorrect, please change it. And so I had to go in and change all these things. Anyways, that being said, I don't know where I was going to, like, don't have your debit card get like, try not to like have your account be suspected of fraud, because you do then like, you can't call the bank. You can and like talk to someone over the phone. I had to physically go into my branch and be like, hey, so this is going on.
Eesh.
And she had to give me a new debit card. And then it was a whole thing when I was at a restaurant. Anyways, that's a different story that I'm not going to talk about, because that story was something else. But all that to say, Morgan Riley, buy Spotify Premium, I hope. And I had a laugh when I went to go open Tessa Virtue's like Instagram, because the top 3 posts are all her and Scott Moyer.
Which is quite funny.
It's hilarious. It's so deeply funny.
Deeply hilarious.
Obsessed. But yeah, the Leafs, like, I'm gonna say it this way, the Leafs didn't play well, and neither did the Vancouver Canucks on Saturday. So like, what are you meant to do about it? Really? Except like just be like, well, both these teams are bad, and someone had to win, because that's how the NHL works. So you had the Leafs win because, a shootout isn't real. I will say Austin Matthews got a penalty shot in overtime, which is something I can't remember the last time I've seen it. And he missed. To be fair, he was gassed. Because it was at the end of a long shift, but he still missed. And it's like, dude, you're Austin Matthews. Like, I think I was just a little bit more upset about it because I had already had a long day at work, and I was just tired and sore, and all I wanted to do was go lay down in bed, but I had to sit through like a full hockey game, full overtime and a shootout, and I was just annoyed. I was like, I want to go to bed. I don't want to watch this anymore because this team sucks. I like it, like, and you have Morgan Riley hurt now, which, like, oh, big loss. Sorry, that's really mean to Mo. That's really mean to him. But he's not playing well right now. Maybe it's because he's dealing with a lingering injury, and maybe like he'll come back healthy from the Olympic break and like be like a brand new Morgan Riley, and we're gonna do the same thing that we sort of did with Brandon Carlo. And are you seeing the text too?
No, I'm now trying to figure out if my athletic subscription is still going because I can't log into my account. And now I'm panicking that I'm gonna get charged money that I don't have.
But yeah, so I think like, maybe it'll be like a Brandon Carlo thing where like, oh, you were actually hurt this whole time. And like, I think the same thing can be said about Matthew Nyes, where it was like, I think he's just been hurt this whole time. For sure. Just because he hasn't been himself. He's been down on a line with John Tavares. And are you checking did you check the group chat?
I did just check the group chat.
Oh, that's so I laughed. But yeah, I just think more, Matthew Nyes has been like, and that's kind of like what you get with a condensed schedule where because the quote unquote, Olympic break, or what has always been All-Star break, gets expanded for the Olympics, you kind of have to condense the schedule so you have everything end around the same time. And at the same time, you have your start dates your start and end dates of the season don't change. So I guess you can kind of see that in the impact of like guys just are playing more back-to-back games. They have less time to recover, and things like that. Or like to take, if a guy were to say like, oh, needed 2 days, whatever, like he doesn't get that 2 days because he doesn't want to miss a game and things like that. And I think we're going to see that a lot more with not necessarily the top guys or the guys that can afford to take a day out of the lineup, a game out of the lineup, I should say, and they're not going to lose their spot on the roster, but like you're going to see, I think we're going to see this impact happen a lot more with like guys in the bottom six, like those borderline, those fringe players, I should say, not borderline, those fringe players who like, if they take a game off because they're hurt, like they're going to lose their spot on the roster, and who knows if they're going to get it back when they're healthy again. So I think, this off season for people who like love looking into like injuries and like patterns and that sort of stuff will, it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. But unrelated to this, Toronto will play Calgary tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, Edmonton tomorrow, back to back for their final 2 games before the Olympic break. Roster freeze is Wednesday at 3 p.m., meaning that no trades can occur. I believe you can't send guys up and down between the Marley, like not the Marlies, the AHL and the NHL, which will be interesting because the AHL will still be playing games and the NHL will not. I just would be interested to see if like guys, get sent down to the AHL that who can, right? Like a Zane Parekh or something, or like Michael, like guys who aren't going to the Olympics, if they get sent down just to play games and then get called back up because they're like, they don't need waivers or whatever, like waiver exempt guys who like get sent down and then whatever. Who knows? Maybe they'll just get the break off, which will be good. But yeah, the Leafs then will come back with a back-to-back against Tampa and Florida on the road after the Olympic break, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. It would be really funny because in the Saturday headlines on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday, Elliot Friedman said that Toronto will start the process on selling, meaning their roster, not the team. Has to be clarified, okay? Because people might think that I'm talking about like the MLSE is selling the Toronto Maple Leafs franchise, but they will start the process on selling. They've started to make calls around the league to kind of figure out what on their roster has value and what doesn't, who they can start shopping around, yada yada yada. It'll be really interesting though, now that like the Leafs have sort of committed to tanking if they win against Calgary and Edmonton, these back-to-back games, because when people will be like, well, they're on this 3-game win streak, do you really want to sell? Yes, you do.
Yes.
Because yes, you do, because you have to like look. You need to start getting stuff back. You don't have a first round pick in 2026. You don't have a first round pick in 2027. Now, if your first round pick in 2026 is the top 5, that's protected. You get to make that pick, and then everything sort of slides, and then you get real messy because the 2027 pick that is going to Philly, but now we'll have to go to Tampa. So then the Philly pick, like, it's top 10 protected, the one that was in the Scott Laughton deal. So you're like, it's like a mess of a way of a slide of like, okay, so like like Boston, did I say Tampa earlier? Boston, that pick will, from the Carlo trade, it's top 5 protected. So then if you get it, well then, so if you slide to 2027, but the 2027 pick that you trade, so then that 2027 pick that you traded to Philly for Scott Laughton has to slide to 2028, but that pick is top 10 protected. So then if you're picking top 10, like when it's like this whole thing, it's very complicated to think about. But just right now, at the moment, the Leafs do need to acquire some assets, whether that be picks or whether that be prospects. I think if you're trying to do a faster turnaround on like this retool and you're trying to have it like it's like Boston's had, where they had one bad season, ended up getting to pick like what did they pick Higgins at? Like 6th, 8th overall. Get a guy like James Higgins anyways, who's going to be he's going to be a good NHLer. It's hard to not argue that he won't be. But you get him. You also like, through the process of selling off a guy like Brandon Carlo, get Fraser Minton, which Fraser Minton was named the NHL's Rookie of the Month. He's had an incredible month of January. He now played Dress Up with the Boys at the Stadium Series, where he like carried around It's so funny. He's like carrying around a speaker, and I wasn't listening to like when they got on the bus, and I saw him have a speaker. I was like, oh, it must be like a rookie initiation thing where like they make the rookie carry around the speaker, like they do in like they do, sometimes, right? And no, it's so that they can play marching music as they walk through the stadium. And it's Fraser Minton's job to hold this JBL speaker to play this marching. They were dressed up as Patriots. The whole joke is that they were dressed up as Patriots because of the New England Patriots, because they were playing at the home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And instead of coming dressed up as Pirates, the Tampa Bay Lightning dressed up as Buccaneers, like Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were wearing football uniforms. Okay, look, is it too hard to ask to get Victor Hedman in an eye patch?
Apparently, it's too much.
Give like Braden Hagel like a fucking parrot on his shoulder. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself because we'll talk about the Stadium Series game a little bit later, but Toronto will be like essentially this Fraser, like the Brandon Carlo deal currently right now looks, I was gonna swear there, looks terrible. It looks so bad.
I agree with you.
Because you look at like what Fraser Minton is doing in Boston, and you're like, wow, we could have had that. Oh, we needed a third line center. Oh, well, here's probably what potentially has the like could be a second line center. Fraser Minton, the way he's playing right now, I think he probably is. It depends sometimes on the game and like who's healthy or not. Could be a second line center for the Boston Bruins. You talk about like John Tavares getting old. How about you put out a line of, first of all, you could do the kid line of Nyes, Minton, Cowan that we never got to see, that I will forever be upset that we never got to see it.
Terrible.
We could have had a kid line.
We could have had it all.
We could have had it all. We could have had a kid line. Or you could get the little bit more of like John Tavares and his children of like Nyes, Minton, Tavares, because at some point you're going to have to move John Tavares over to the wing. It wouldn't be this season.
No.
But you probably have to start looking for that. Unfortunately, John Tavares is getting older. At some point he does have to make the shift over to the wing. And that's been sort of an ongoing discussion through the course of the season, especially as he slowed down through the back half of the year. But like, you could have had that, but no, you needed, which, like, yes, Toronto needed defensive help, but I think Toronto got so much into this, like, shoot now mindset, which I guess, like, the pressure of, like, the looming Mitch Marner scenario kind of forces you to get into it, but, like, they just were giving up too much for too little. And this is like, I'm not trying to, like, attack Brandon Carlo or, like, Scott Lawn personally, but, like, they were giving up too much for too little, and it's, like, one of those really frustrating things of like 2020 hindsight on trades that like I'm sure Ottawa Senators fans can agree with me on, of like, yeah, this one little thing's gonna push us over the edge. And it's like, then you look back at the roster and you're like, you expected this to be the thing that's gonna push your team over the edge. And it's like not of all things.
I will say though, every so often when a tweet about Fraser Minton comes up on my timeline, which isn't as often as I would like because I do have the Bruins blocked, and every so often I'm reminded of it when someone sends me a tweet and I have to go in and I'm like, why have I not seen this? And I'm like, oh, it's because they're blocked. And I think I blocked them whilst I was sat on the bus in Manchester after finding out about the Fraser Minton trade.
You're just like, Leafs traded Fraser Minton to Boston, so I blocked the Boston Bruins. Like, you know that thing where someone, like, anything happens in the NHL and someone's like, X thing happened, like, X thing did X thing, so I blocked Jack Hughes?
Yeah. I think, did I tweet about that? I know I tweeted about blocking someone, and I'm going to find out.
I guess there was a period of time where you could have been like, because he is on Twitter, it could have been like,
yeah, I did in fact tweet that exact thing.
Block the Boston Bruins. You could have done probably like the Toronto Maple Leafs traded Fraser Minton to Boston, so I blocked Brad Marchand, but then Brad Marchand got traded to Florida.
So it didn't even work.
But like, no. And I'm not gonna be here to be like gatekeep a player who is like is younger than me. So like there's little brother energy that goes on there. But like I'm not here to gatekeep a hockey player or
I know.
anything. But like there's like Boston Bruins fans that like talk about Fraser Minton like they discovered him, and it's like, no.
It's like, dude.
I also can tell that he's been having a really good month because like a year and a half ago I tweeted out there was this video. This is like when Fraser Minton was with the Saskatoon Blades. So it's like
Mm.
over a year and a half ago. It might probably be closer to 2 years ago.
It's like
Um
baby mints.
yeah. There so the Blades did this community event, and this girl from a local high school did an interview with him. And I gotta hold on, I'm gonna find the video because it's like right in the top of my Twitter notifications because everyone's been like liking it
Mm.
recently. Um and she replied to it being like, hey yo, that's me. Anyways, so shout out Sam. I don't have a last name, but her first name Sam. Shout out Sam, who did this actually really good interview with him.
Mm.
It is like the clip is, I'm just gonna turn this down. Oh my god, Alexa, no, shut up. Oh my god. I didn't say that. It's like a 30-second interview. It's just like a couple of
Mm.
questions. But it's like this high school's podcast TikTok account where he did this interview at this like Saskatoon Blades like outdoor rink charity event.
Mm.
And every time he has a good game, I guess it like it did so well when I first tweeted it out. Yeah, 2 years ago, end of February 2024.
Oh
Um
my god.
it did so well that it like when you name search Fraser Minton, I guess when you click videos, it's probably one of the first ones
You're
to pop
there.
up. So then people are seeing it and liking it. And I can always tell when he gets a good game because there'll be a couple more people who will like it. And he's had a
Mm.
really good month of January because this tweet keeps getting liked. And so I'm reminded of this like tweet from like this is like end of February 2024, and like the Leafs weren't playing well because I can tell, not just because I also remember, but I can tell because the tweet starts with in hopes of salvaging some good vibes.
It's like that's how you know it's rough.
When I was like in hopes of salvaging some good vibes. Here's our prospect. Look at him. Watch
Yeah,
what he's
look
doing.
away from the big dumpster fire and look at this child. Look at
And
him,
it's
he's
like
so
and it's
shiny
like
and full of
Fraser Minton being like,
potential.
I was in chess club before hockey made me too busy.
And it's like,
That's like
look,
what
he has
essentially
Wednesday.
that's like what the video is him going like, I
Yeah.
was in chess club.
And us being like, yeah, no shit.
Look at you. Yes, you were in chess club. You probably look like you walked off the set of the Queen's Gambit. Like,
Like, of
but
course you were in chess club.
but yeah, I like will forever be mad about the Leafs like getting rid of Fraser Minton because I love him dearly. I think he's a great player. I've always been high on him too, in terms of as like just a prospect in general. Um, and I think it's unfortunate that the Leafs sort of, you know, were like, man, we need a third line center. And then had this, and I think I said this last episode because I made the same
Mm.
stupid John Mulaney joke. But like, I am still forever mad because they complain and complain about not having a third line center. They have a third line center. Unfortunately, he's just 20 years old, and they like don't have the patience to be like, maybe we should
Give him a year.
give him a year. And people could be like, well, what about Nikita Grabankin? I'm like, I think Nikita Grabankin, like, as fun as he was to watch, like when he was with the Leafs and like the way he like interacted with the media and stuff,
Mm.
wasn't at the same caliber or didn't have as high of an expected ceiling as Fraser Minton did.
Mm.
So I think it was a little bit of a different conversation about like how you maybe are more open to trading that piece.
Mm.
And I think also it's just like it left the Leafs prospect like closet. I don't is it closet shelf, prospect pool. There we go. Very
The
barren
prospect
because like
closet.
outside of Easton Cowan, like your next best Easton Cowan and Dennis Hildeby, who have had considerable stretches in the NHL now this season. Like it's like your next best prospect is like Ben Danford, and like no offense to Ben Danford, but like you no one can see the faces we're making, but I hope like you can see the face. There's like some eyebrow raising that's going on.
Yeah, there's like
just
eyebrow raising, the like white person grimace, and like a tilted head. That made so much sense. Everyone can picture us now. Oh God, I just miss it, man. We used to have it so good.
And it's like now you have nothing and you also have no picks. And so like now I'm supposed to like get really into like Sam McHugh, who did score he did have a Michigan goal recently for the Ottawa 67s.
Of course.
But like that's just the thing, is like you need picks and prospects and they don't have picks and prospects.
And
it's
like you need a future and not a future that's gonna come in like years. You needed the future that you traded away last year.
Yeah. And it's like, and like, yes, okay, like selling a team and like, selling off pieces is a very easy job for a GM. You still like gotta get a fair return for those things.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to watch, sort of, yes, okay, after the 4th, like 3 p.m. on the 4th, like you can't have trades until the 22nd. But like again, I think we said this last episode, doesn't stop GMs from making phone calls. Like GMs can still make phone calls. They can still have deals essentially agreed to. They just then can't call NHL front office and be like, "We'd like to make a trade." Sort of until after the 22nd. So, something to think about for sure. Another like Saturday headline point was just like Elliot Friedman being like, the relationship between there's no strain in the relationship between Austin Matthews and the Toronto Maple Leaf, which like, romantic.
Cute.
Like just like the language that was used, I was like, oh, there's no strain in their relationship. That's good. It's good when a couple goes through a difficult time that they
can pull through.
They can pull through.
They make it out together and stronger.
But I guess also like it's really funny to have like the concern of like people being like, wow, Leafs have one bad year and everyone's talking about Austin Matthews like leaving the Toronto Maple Leafs after he's just signed this like $13 million contract. And you're like, okay, where else? Like truly. And I know we've seen some cap wizardry from teams in the past, aka the Florida Panthers, the Vegas Golden Knights, but like truly show me where there is a competitive team that Austin Matthews would like to play for that can also make the space for $13.25 million in a cap hit. That's not like, what if we did Connor McDavid for Austin Matthews 1-for-1? What if?
I don't know.
But like also like show me where that works. So like, yeah, no wonder like Austin Matthews not going to be like, get me out of here. Like the minute there's a falter. I also think like he signed this contract. So like if Austin Matthews truly thought that the Leafs were going to be a competitive team, well, I guess he only signed a 4-year deal. So I really should be thinking about William Nylander if like William Nylander thought the Leafs were going to be competitive for all 8 years of his contract that he signed. He's a little bit delusional.
We love that for him.
I wish if that's actually true, I wish I was as delusional as William Nylander, who like has taken what feels like forever to like renovate his condo.
Yeah.
It's like
maybe
one of those.
It's gonna be done in the next 8 years, maybe.
It's like he doesn't have cabinets, but he's already been shopping for like faucets.
Sure,
but,
William.
Like
sure.
he's like having bespoke cabinets getting like But also then like in that, so William Nylander posted a vlog. In that vlog, he was like, yeah, so I ripped up these cabinets. We ripped out these cabinets in my condo when we were going to renovate it. And then I found out that they were made here. And it's like a bespoke, like custom cabinetry, like wood, like shit gets hand carved there. And he's
Mm.
like, yeah, I ripped these up. And like, that's something you keep in. Like, I'm sorry. It's also the concept of William Nylander, who like notably does not cook, being like, yeah,
Mm.
I want to redo my kitchen. Sorry, it's okay,
So
maybe
funny.
like just for like my sake, because the curiosity of what this condo is going to look like is killing me. Can we have like an architectural digest like walkthrough video of William Nylander's condo in the same way that we got of Connor McDavid's like black and white like
Box.
showroom mansion that like I felt like seeing it, I was like, I would not want to touch anything in this home.
Mm.
Like
Like I'd breathe too close to it and that I'd get like
would not want to
time.
bring like a glass of red wine within like a 30-foot radius of that couch.
Mm. I'm like, nope.
That white couch.
Oh no, it. I'm just like, nope. I don't want to. I
I
won't even
will
stand near it.
I, I just feel like I would sit down on it and it would get dirty.
mm.
Not because
And
I'm
then I'd have
like a
like
dirty
Lauren and
person.
Kyle just stood there, just going, huh.
Not that I'm like a dirty person and I leave like dirt wherever I go, but just like I would be afraid
Mm.
of like getting that house dirty. It's like
Yeah,
too
like you
clean.
sit down on the couch, you get like a speck of dust on it, and it's like, wow, monthly dinner party's cancelled. Sofa's ruined.
Yeah, I don't I did watch that William. It was so funny because I like the Nylander family, like they so deeply intrigue me.
Yeah.
I'm so
Um,
fascinated by the Nylanders. Essentially is what I'm trying to get out of that from watching that vlog. I was like, okay.
mm.
I also love that like they also will go to a nice restaurant for dinner and they will then sit and prop their phone up at the end of the table to watch a hockey game.
It's just brilliant.
I was like, okay,
That's family.
that's family. But yeah, no, I have seen like too much of Alex Nylander in the past, like in the like first like 3 or 4 William Nylander vlogs. Not in the way of like I don't like when he's around. No, just like too much of like him without clothes on.
Mm. Yeah.
Like the concept. Truly, I may never understand hockey players or men because the concept of just like walking around with your family there, just like in your underwear.
Yeah, no.
And like your underwear and like a snapback cap. That's all he was wearing.
And it's so stupid.
I was like, okay.
Like, dude. Oh, dear me.
But in some other NHL news, Barry Trotz announced that he will be stepping away from the Nashville Predators, which like Barry Trotz is not a good GM.
Mm.
He's not a good GM. I thought he would have been fired before he was like, I'm stepping away and I will stay on until they find a replacement for me.
It's like, I've made this dumpster fire, and then
And
I'm gonna head out.
I made this I set this dumpster on fire and now I'm backing away from it and letting someone else put it out.
Yeah.
Have fun with this mess I made. See who you want. See who you can find who wants Jonathan Marchessault at age. How old is Jonathan Marchessault?
Elderly.
35.
Oh yeah.
I'm Barry Trotz.
Oh, they should put me on the job.
I literally was talking about this with Arya, who's a friend of the show, who we've had on the show before, and
Mm.
we were talking more in the context of like we could run the Toronto Maple Leafs, put us in charge. Like, yeah, we can figure out what's wrong with the team. It's not that
Yeah.
hard. We know how to fix it.
Like, throw us in there.
We could make a winning team based off of just our blurbos. So
Mum
if
said it's my turn to fix the Leafs.
like if we were gonna talk about like who we would have, like who we would take from the Nashville Predators, like if we were taking over the Nashville Predators, who would we keep? Number one on that list, Michael Bunting.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
build a team around
Not
him.
Roman Yossi, not UC Saros. No.
Uh-uh.
Michael Bunting.
We are building the team around Michael Bunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. He is key to all of this. The
And next thing you know,
structural
we've won the
linchpin,
cup.
if you will. Next thing you know, Michael Bunting is lifting the Stanley Cup with a C on
Oh,
his
yeah.
chest. Sorry, Roman Yossi.
Yeah.
You have been stripped. The vibes need to have been changed. And I like Roman Yossi, so like,
Mm. But like Michael Bunting.
but like Michael Bunting. Yeah, so Barry Trotz, like, it was weirdly worded. It was like, I will be stepping down. This is not a retirement. It's like, it's not because of health reasons. This is not a retirement. I just don't want to do this anymore. But I will stay on
Until you find
until
someone
it
else.
It like very much seems like the ownership went to Barry Trotz and was like, so we have some options. We can either fire you or you can resign. And you then get to stay on until we find someone to take over your job.
Mm.
But you have to, in both options, no longer be the GM of the Nashville Predators.
Mm.
How does that sound? And Barry Trotz went, deal.
But I will resign.
Yeah. Barry Trotz, who's like the most, I'm trying to like think of like what cartoon character he looks like.
Oh, who?
You know what I mean? There is a cartoon, he looks like a cartoon character.
You know, like Humpty Dumpty.
All the king's horses and all the king's men.
Couldn't put the Nashville Predators together again.
But like I'm trying to think of like who he looks like.
Who does he look like?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's gonna really bug me now because I'm start thinking I can picture a cartoon character. I just can't see what the pictured cartoon character is.
Maybe he's just like shaped. Maybe this like really specific picture that I'm looking at of him.
Oh my god, no, I've got it. You know, in the Lorax, the O'Hare's henchmen, the the bald ones. It's it's just everything about him.
Morty and they have names?
The name?
They're named Mortimer, Morty, and McGurk. They are twin set of bodyguards who work for Mr. O'Hare. Their aliases are Meat Morty or Mortimer and two knuckleheads. I don't
know how to feel about that.
personality Morty. This is from like the Villains fan wiki, which is a great fan wiki by the way, because they have like I love the Villains fan wiki because they have like a section listed as crimes committed. So if you've ever looked up everyone has a homework assignment. Go look up the Villains fan wiki page of Chris from Total Drama Island, like the host. What's his last name? Do you know who I'm talking about? He has a last
No.
name. I'm realizing Total Drama Island was a Canadian animated TV show.
Mm.
That was basically like an animated version of Survivor.
Um,
And it took place in like Muskoka. Chris McLean, he has a villains fan wiki. And the list of crimes that are listed on his fan wiki is lengthy. It's so lengthy. But yes, Barry Trotz. Like if you put a mustache on these guys, you would have
mm.
you would have Barry Trotz, because Barry Trotz has a mustache.
The real
Or
question
like he
is,
has
do
facial hair, not
we
mustache.
make Barry Trotz a villains wiki page?
Can we?
I don't know, but
Because like
he should have one.
he does have like a Stanley Cup.
Mm.
So, but it also just like what I will say is like what Barry Trotz like shows is that you can be a really good coach, but a really terrible GM. Like a
Mm.
reverse Wayne Gretzky of sorts, of like
Mm.
he was a he was I'm like trying to like I almost said like he was a good player.
I mean, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, you know. Um Terrible head coach. An okay GM.
Mm.
But yeah, so I don't know. I honestly though, like if there's nothing, at least when like someone's like, we're looking for a new head coach, you can kind of throw names around. I don't
Mm.
even know whose name you would throw around to take over as GM of the Nashville Predators. Like, I could not tell you who's like available. Wait, Kevin Adams. He's available because the Buffalo
Mm.
Sabres fired him this year. Or also, um, who was just fired? Was it Kevin Adams, the only GM who was fired this year? NHL GM fired this season. Not, no. Literally, it was like the only one who was fired this year was. But Kevin Adams is available. Do I think that the Nashville Predators should follow in the footsteps of the Buffalo Sabres and hire Kevin Adams? Probably not. But his name is available. He's out there.
Mm.
So
Unless you want to, I don't know, bring in someone new. But that's asking for quite a lot.
that's a crazy concept for the National Hockey League.
Yeah. I don't even know why I bothered.
Introducing something new.
Whoa. So crazy.
Gary Bettman might kill you for that.
If this is my final episode, I love you.
Some other news as well. There's been ongoing discussions about Artemi Panarin getting traded from the New York Rangers. I think we talked about it a little bit before. It's kind of been established that he would like to go to Florida, but also anywhere that he ends up, and as part of this trade is an extension has to be included. So he would like to go wherever he would then sign an extension, which makes Florida a very interesting case because they
Mm.
don't have any cap space at the moment. But of course, when has that ever stopped the Florida Panthers? Um, but also, so
Mm.
some things to note as to like how they could still pull this off, and we're all gonna like be really mad about it. Is that Sergei Bobrovsky's $10 million contract expires at the end of the season. So if you essentially, if you're the Florida Panthers, if you go, okay, so Barkov's season is done, let us get Artemi Panarin, and then not sign Sergei Bobrovsky to $10 million, sign him for less, move some other things around. You might have to trade like an Evan Rodriguez or something, which, yeah, get Evan Rodriguez out of the Atlantic Division. My day will be much better. Sorry to Evan Rodriguez. I just like threw his name out there. I was like, who's a guy you could get rid of? Evan Rodriguez. Because like you do real like you are like when you add a piece like Artemi Panarin, that is a huge impact piece. So like things in terms of like guys that you actually need get moved around. So like you may be able to like the trade does have to have a return essentially, right? Like you could fix this with like whatever the return is going to the New York Rangers, and then also just with like not signing a guy or trading a guy off over the summer. But essentially, like end Barkov season, you get Artemi Panarin, yada bing that over the summer you do some like cap wizardry, like cap black magic type deal, and
Bish bash bosh.
bish bash bosh, you get Artemi Panarin signing an extension with the Florida Panthers. There was, and I can actually pull up this graphic because I have the picture saved to my phone. I'm so good at this thing. There was some like Elliot threw out some teams who would be able to willing to sign him with an extension, or like could sign him with an extension, and could sign him without with an extent trade, could sign him to an extension and could just trade and not have the extension. So could sign him Washington, Los Angeles, San Jose, Florida, Detroit, Carolina, and then no extension Colorado, Dallas, Anaheim, and also Carolina. Depends on who you ask. With Carolina. Some of these teams are interesting. San Jose is an interesting one. I don't know why you would do that. Florida, yeah, okay, expected. Washington makes sense, kind of a little bit. There's, you got Ovi there, that could be a really impactful piece for them there with Panarin. Detroit makes sense. They're good now. They need, that could kind of give them that edge that they need through the playoffs and into the future. Los Angeles, yeah, they just need a guy, especially with Kopitar retiring. Like, whether that's a center or not, you just need a guy. Like, you do need to now, like, figure out how you're going to move on with Kopitar retiring. So, like, that makes sense of the teams with the extension. The no extension teams is like, oh, yeah, who's going to be in on this? Colorado, makes sense. Dallas, makes sense. That Central Division is going to be a goddamn bloodbath. Yeah. Anaheim makes sense because look at the season that they're having. They're actually playing well. They could do something in the playoffs. It'll be very interesting to see what the Pacific shakes out to be. And then Carolina, of course, because Carolina seems to be in on everything. That being said, Artemi Panarin is under a full no-move clause. He actually has total and complete final say on what happens, on where he goes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, with him. A little bit of some controversy that he's faced in New York over the past year as well, which we did talk about that. Yes, because I think I had a big long rant about it as well.
Yeah. Probably.
One more thing, Stadium Series was in Tampa on Sunday, yesterday. And it was a great game. If you didn't watch it because, like, you've become a little bit skeptical about outdoor games, there's been 45 of them in NHL history, which is quite a lot. If you've become a little bit wary of it, that was one to tune in to. It was because, like, you could admit, okay, the last few have just been boring games, but I think this one was good because you had a good team and you had a team who can be good. In the Boston Bruins. Like, I'm not, like, the Boston Bruins are fighting for a playoff spot. The Tampa Bay Lightning have been good all season. Like, you have two good teams, essentially, battling it out. So it was going to be exciting. It's not like it was Columbus and Chicago where that game was boring because both teams sucked. It's not like it was Florida and New York that was boring because one team, like, both teams weren't great. You didn't have Kachuk, you didn't have Barkov for Florida. So, like, they were just, like, and, like, New York is not good. Like, it just, you actually now have, a really engaging game because both teams are good and you can see some good hockey. Boston at one point was up I want to make sure I get this right. Um, like at one point, like Boston was up 5-1. Tampa comes back, rallies, wins in the shootout. Like that's just that's exciting to watch. Because just as when you were about to be like, all right, I'm gonna turn the game off, like this is an absolute blowout, like Boston's blowing Tampa out of the water, Tampa comes back, and then it gets tight. You win in the shootout. That's great. It's always fun to see a shootout. You know, the Leafs had one against Detroit when that game was at Big House, the Michigan Stadium. I think it actually has a name besides the Big House and Michigan Stadium. But do I know it? No, because I don't follow college football at all. But Tyler Bozak. But then, of course, also as well, you had a goalie fight in this one.
Yeah.
Between Jeremy Swayman and Andrei Vasilevsky, you had a proper good goalie fight, and they were going at it. Not to say that the goalie fight between Nedeljkovic and Bobrovsky was not a good fight, but this one was good. Both goalies were mad, and if you are Jeremy Swayman has been kind of wanting to go with someone for a while, and Vasilevsky probably would go as you kind of would be like, I think he would go too. And they went at it and it was great. And you saw you could see the back and forth between them before they actually started fighting of take your gloves off, take your helmet off. And then Swayman had someone else's stick stuck in his pad. So he takes it out, rips it, throws away. It's great. It's beautiful hockey. It's and also as well, the outfits were great. The Boston Bruins walked in dressed up as Patriots. They were in full, it literally looked like they walked off the stage of Hamilton. It was fantastic. They had marching music that they were marching into, little football theme with the New England Patriots, especially with the Patriots being in the Super Bowl this year. And then you had Tampa going full Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The orange creamsicle jerseys, which are jerseys I wasn't really familiar with, those were gorgeous jerseys. Okay, the orange Tampa Bay Buccaneers jerseys, those were great. It was really funny because I could tell who had never played high school football before because of how uncomfortable they looked in the football. Brandon Hagel could tell you have never played high school football before. Andrei Vasilevsky could tell you never played high school. I could tell who was just deeply uncomfortable by the situation they were in.
The whole look of just
exactly. And I think Hagel walked in and he was pulling down the collar of it, pulling
dude,
didn't want it. You had the broadcasters dressed up as pirates. You had John. So in the Hockey Hall of Fame, in the display for outdoor games, there was a fedora that was worn by Mike Babcock in the outdoor game between Toronto and Detroit when he was head coach of the team. It's great. It's a great, he's got the fedora. It's a great thing. Can we replace Mike Babcock's fedora with John Cooper's fedora that he wore in last night's game? He was in full mobster. He had the deep V, the exaggerated collar, the white suit with the maroon. It was gorgeous. It was a great look on him. That was really fun. I think after the game they walk through into the locker room, him and the coaching staff smoking cigars. I think it's just great. A little nod to Tampa's Cuban culture, which was really fun. I just think that's kind of what you want an outdoor game to be. You want it to be memorable in terms of the on ice and off ice product of yeah, people are going to remember, the Boston Bruins walking in full full thing, get the music going. They're going to remember the goalie fight. They're going to remember that it went to a shootout. They're going to remember this big comeback by Tampa. All these sorts of things, they're going to remember that. So that's really great. And that's what makes it notable because could I tell you the outcome of the past 3 or 4 outdoor games? No. But I can tell you about the ones that were notable and exciting that I remember, right? So it'll be interesting. Big shoes to fill for the 2027 Stadium Series. That will be in Texas, in Arlington, at AT&T Field, between the Vegas between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars, which you can tell Gary Bettman really, like, the NHL really wants to try and make Vegas a thing because this is their third outdoor game.
It's like, stop trying to make Vegas happen.
Yeah. But like both teams, hopefully next year, you never know, will be good. So it'll be another good on ice product. But I will say, I think when this got announced, I was very wary about the weather. Tampa got lucky because they legitimately got snow and like it was cold. So like they got lucky with the weather in terms of like it being cold enough for the ice. I think we will end it here because I can tell you are getting tired.
I do have something to complain about.
The floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you. So in the EIHL, which is my league, we love Pride nights. We love a themed night, always. They're very big. Most of the time, it's like teams are wearing special jerseys more than they're wearing the normal jersey. It's brilliant. So usually on Pride night, the team will they'll warm up and play the full game in the Pride jersey. The other night, it was the Five Flyers Pride night, and they put out a little announcement very, very, very last minute, being like, "Oh yes, it's like we love gay people. We love gay people. But in order to reflect and like consider the personal beliefs of people within our team. I'm gonna pull up the actual statement. But basically they were like, yeah, we're only gonna wear the Pride jerseys for warm-ups. Where has it gone? Oh so they were like, Pride Night is an important opportunity for our organization to celebrate diversity and reaffirm our commitment to creating an inclusive and welcoming environment for everyone in our community. Great start. We're thinking, brilliant. This is going to go well. Following internal discussion, we want to clarify how tonight's Pride Night will now be reflected on the ice. The team will wear Pride-themed jerseys during warm-ups, will compete in standard Five Flyers home jerseys for the game itself. This is what has pissed me off. This approach allows us to support Pride Night whilst also respecting the diversity of backgrounds and personal beliefs within our playing group. And then they bang on about our commitment to inclusion and support of the LGBTQ community. And it's like, they were like, our support remains unchanged. And it's like, well, it doesn't, because you're now last minute turning around and going, we love gay people, but like only during warm-ups because we don't want to upset the players on our team. Although it's quite funny because said homophobic player then didn't warm up because he didn't want to wear the Pride jersey, and I think he played like less than 2 minutes before pulling a muscle and leaving the game. So like,
Big baby.
calm as a bitch, I guess. If you liked gay people, you wouldn't have a pulled muscle. Yeah, so that's how supporting the LGBTQ community prevents injury.
It was very much like a fuck around and find out sort of.
Yeah. And then, but it was really bad because then loads of like local like LGBTQ businesses and people who were like sponsoring the team or like involved with the team in some way or another have then gone, we weren't aware of this, so we're now not going to be involved anymore. And it's like, Fife has had a time. Okay, Fife. Whenever the Fife Flyers have never not struggled. Um. So this isn't a good look. It's not a good look anyway. But it's really not a good look at the minute. Like, guys, you had one thing going for you. I mean, in all fairness, that I don't think I'd want to be in their locker room. Um, but yeah, so then they put out another statement afterwards because everyone kicked off, and rightfully so. And then they put out another statement the after like everything had kicked off, and they go, "We want to acknowledge the hurt and disappointment many in our community felt due to our decisions on Pride Night. Wait for it. We are truly sorry for the impact this has had and understand why it has caused upset amongst the community. The Five Flyers are committed to inclusion and aim to be a welcoming club for the LGBTQ plus community and everyone who supports our team. We will reflect on this, continue listening, and work to ensure our values are better reflected in how we move forward." Bullshit. You are sorry that people went, maybe don't abandon Pride Night. And a crazy, crazy idea. Baffling. But yeah,
The
that's what's
the
been going on my side of the pond.
I then like saw a comment from like one of the like players' wives
Yeah.
on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
you've missed the point so
Oh, yeah, no.
so
That
far.
was,
It's almost come around and hit you back in the head."
yeah.
Like, you know when someone's like so like have missed the point so completely that they've almost
Mm.
got to the right place
And you're
again just
like,
by
if
like
you just shuffle. But yeah, no, I I saw the comments she left and I was like, girl, you need to shut the fuck up.
you're
Because
not helping the situation right
no,
now.
like you are just making it so much worse. And I'm like, I don't even know how much worse it could get for Five, but yeah. So yeah, that was whatever crazy fuckery has been going on over here.
It's always fun when like we ever, when we talk about, the EIHL and it's like always some like fuck ass shit's going on.
Mm, yeah, it's this is why Manchester Storm, as terrible as they are sometimes, good. Best team in the league.
Yeah.
They might not show in the standings, but best team, number one team in my heart.
All right. Well, we'll end it here. We will be back on Thursday with our final episode before the Olympic break. We will have our guests, some guests on. We'll have our friends from the coast, Casey and Catherine, who it'll be so lovely to have them on. It'll be really fun for our like annual crossover event.
I'm so excited.
We're so excited about it. But yes, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back on Thursday. In the meantime, you can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow the show on Twitter at From the Fourth Line. That's fourth with the number 4TH. If you miss the two of us between episodes because you think we're absolutely hilarious or you want to hear more of our brilliant hockey takes, you can follow us over at Twitter at 60 Leafs for Ella, at Pair B1 for myself. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back on Thursday. And in the meantime, go Leafs
Go
go.
Leafs go.